Discover how a humble banana seller's touching journey transformed a billionaire's life forever. Ray set up his small cart on the bustling corner of downtown Chicago every morning, the yellow awning bright against the gray corporate backdrop. He was a humble banana seller, but his warm smile and cheerful "good morning" greeted everyone passing by. He wore a weathered cap that shielded his brow, and his heart was filled with love for his daughter, Mia. In her junior year of high school, Mia dreamed of a world far removed from their struggling neighborhood. Ray worked tirelessly, hoping to give her a chance at a brighter future. One fateful afternoon, as he arranged his bananas, a figure appeared: Tom, a once mighty billionaire. Tom's shoulders slumped like a bag of stones, his face a mask of sorrow. He didn't notice Ray's cart at first, lost in his own thoughts. But Ray, ever observant, couldn't help but see the pain flickering behind Tom's eyes. With a simple gesture, Ray offered him a banana, saying, "Here, take this. It's on the house." Tom hesitated, but something in Ray's sincerity pulled him in. He accepted, and in that moment, their lives began to shift. Days turned to weeks, and Tom returned to Ray's cart, drawn by the warmth of the connection they forged over ripe bananas and shared stories. Ray learned about Tom's fall from grace. Tantrums echoed within sterile boardrooms, and nights spent drowning in regret. In return, Tom discovered Ray's relentless work ethic and dreams for Mia's future. Each conversation peeled back layers of loneliness, revealing the intrinsic value of friendship. But then, tragedy struck when Mia suffered an accident, sending Ray's world into a tailspin. He felt helpless as her future dangled by a thread. Desperate to assist, Tom offered financial help, but Ray, proud and steadfast, shook his head. "This isn't about money, Tom. This is about family." In that crucible moment, both men confronted themselves. Could Tom's wealth really save Mia? And could it taint the bond they'd built? As society's pressures weighed heavy, Tom reflected on the hollowness of his previous success. How could he reconcile this emptiness when surrounded by the simple fulfillment Ray embodied? Ray grappled with feelings of inadequacy and failure. He needed to redefine his worth outside the confines of financial struggle. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As days passed, both men's paths led them to an emotional precipice, the bonds of friendship tremoring against the backdrop of societal inequality. Would Ray's spirit shine in the darkness overwhelming his life? Could Tom find redemption and understanding through true camaraderie? Their worlds stood at a crossroads, two men from vastly different worlds standing side by side, grappling with a questioning future. Would they find a way through the heartache together, or were their destinies fated to drift apart? The tension hung in the air, as heavy as the ripening bananas in Ray's cart. Ray stood beside his cart, heart heavy as the sun dipped below the city skyline. Mia lay in a hospital room, her small frame fragile under a blanket of white sheets. The sterile scent of antiseptic clung to the air, mingling with the hum of machines that beeped like distant heartbeats. He couldn't shake the warmth of the banana he had given Tom, nor the weight of his friend's offer. Money seemed like a tempting lifeline, but Ray rejected it with every fiber of his being. As he cleaned up for the day, Tom strolled over, his expression serious. His expensive suit felt out of place against the worn pavement. "How is she doing?" he asked, his voice thick with concern. Ray sighed deeply, pinching his brow as he glanced at the sky turning crimson. "It's tough, Tom. The doctors are monitoring her, but each day feels like a lifetime." Tom nodded, shifting on his feet. "You know, if there's anything I can do." Ray shot him a look that cut through the air like a knife. "This isn't about money, Tom. You've been kind, but I want to let you buy my daughter's recovery. I'll do everything I can for her." The anger surprised him and left him breathing hard. "I understand," Tom replied softly. The sadness weighed on him, visibly darkening his eyes. "But please, don't think of it that way. I just want to help a friend. Then just be my friend, Ray said, his voice trembling. Be there for me. Be there for her when she wakes up. Tom swallowed, the lump in his throat choking him. For the first time in years, he felt stripped bare of his wealth and status. What could he offer that would hold meaning outside of that? I can do that, he finally said. But you have to let me in. You've been so generous with yourself. Let me help carry the weight. Ray rubbed a hand over his stubbled chin, searching Tom's face for truth. A fire kindled in him, battling between pride and desperation. He had been fighting alone for so long. Was it time to let someone in? As the sun slipped beneath the horizon, turning the world into shades of deep blue, they made a pact of sorts. Together they would face whatever lay ahead. Days turned into a week. Tom paused his luxurious life to check in on Mia, bringing flowers, ridiculous stuffed animals, and stories about the world outside the hospital. Ray watched the way Mia's face lit up when Tom told her about the adventures of the boardroom, his warm laugh echoing in her sterile room. In those moments, the stitches on Ray's heart began to heal a little, but as the days passed, Mia showed no signs of improvement, and Ray felt the walls of despair closing in. He watched Tom slowly unravel, too, as hope ebbed and flowed like the tides. The light in Tom's eyes dimmed as he grappled with feelings of helplessness. Ray knew then that both their journeys were intertwined. He could feel Tom's desire to be better, to rise from the ashes of his past mistakes. You're not just a billionaire, Ray said one day. You're more than that. You can be the person who makes a difference in your life and in others. As a deep silence enveloped them, Tom pondered Ray's words. Maybe you're right, he said finally, his voice barely a whisper. But what if my best isn't enough? The question hung heavy in the air, like the fruit on Ray's cart, ripe but uncertain, a little bruised. Both men could feel the burden of those words creeping in, threatening to crush them both. As night descended, they stood side by side, staring at the hospital building. What awaited them inside? Would Mia awaken and bring light back into their lives? Would the bond forged in the light of struggle withstand the darkness they feared? They didn't have the answers, but both men took a step forward. Their lives had already begun to change in ways they never expected. The journey ahead could tear them apart or bring them closer together than ever before. And as the city lights flickered on, a wind swept through, whispering secrets only they could hear. What was soon to unfold would test the very fabric of their newfound friendship in ways neither had anticipated. Would they be ready for the challenge ahead? Ray found himself pacing outside the hospital, the familiar sounds of the city swirling around him. Each honk of a horn and chatter of pedestrians felt distant, overshadowed by thoughts of Mia. The hospital had become a second home, but even the sterile walls could not contain the worry coursing through him. It hung on his shoulders like a heavy burden, unshakable and persistent. Ray, a voice called out, pulling him from his spiral of anxious thoughts. It was Tom, approaching with more flowers in hand. Daisies this time, a burst of yellow against the gray backdrop of the building. Hey, Ray said, forcing a smile, though it felt fragile. Another bouquet? Thought she could use something bright. Tom glanced at the flowers, the corners of his mouth lifting ever so slightly. We can never have too many flowers, right? Ray chuckled softly. Right, as long as they keep her spirits up. But the smile faded as he looked back at the hospital entrance, where hope seemed to flounder like a boat caught in a storm. They entered the building together, the smell of antiseptic washing over them. The usual greeting from the nurse at the front desk felt mechanical, but Tom held the door for Ray, a gentle reminder that he was there not just physically, but emotionally. When they reached Mia's room, Ray's heart raced. He pushed open the door, and it creaked like an old floorboard. Inside, Mia lay still, her tiny chest rising and falling with each breath. It was both a comfort and a reminder of her fragility. Hey, princess, Ray murmured, hoping she could hear him somehow. He stood by her bedside, grasping her small hand, feeling the frailness of her warmth. It's me. We brought you some colorful flowers today. Tom stepped closer, careful not to intrude, and his eyes softened as he took in the scene. You know, he said, his voice steady, the doctors believe she can sense you both. Keep talking to her. Ray turned his head, surprised. You really think so? Absolutely. Children are resilient. They feel love, even in silence. As they shared stories of Mia's favorite places, her laughter giggling in playgrounds, flying kites on sunny days, Ray glanced at Tom now and again, recognizing the determination in his friend's eyes. Tom was investing in more than friendship. He was weaving himself into the fabric of Ray's life with every shared word and moment of support. Hours passed like fleeting wisps of time, and still, Mia didn't stir. The weight of the silence felt like a heavy blanket. Ray couldn't shake the feeling of helplessness creeping in again, shadows nipping at the edges of his hope. I don't know how much longer I can do this, he admitted suddenly, his voice breaking the stillness. What if she doesn't wake up? Tom's eyes darkened. Then we fight for her. Together. We show her that she's not alone in this. I'm not used to leaning on anyone, Ray confessed, feeling vulnerable. It's always been me against the world. Tom nodded, understanding flashing across his face. And sometimes, it's okay to let the world in. You don't have to carry it all. In that moment, something shifted. Ray felt the air clear, like a storm slowly passing. He realized that perhaps vulnerability didn't equal weakness, it could be a strength, a bridge to camaraderie. He had never let anyone in like this, and it scared him that it felt right. Just then, a beeping sound pierced through the quiet. Both men turned toward the heart monitor. Ray's breath caught in his throat. The steady rhythm seemed to falter, and he could feel panic clenching in his chest. Stay with me, kiddo, he whispered, gripping Mia's hand tighter. Tom leaned in closer, watching. Let us just breathe with her, he said softly, following Ray's lead. Ray and Tom breathed in unison, focusing on Mia, their strength pooling together in that small hospital room. Would it be enough? As they each took another breath, Mia's fingers twitched. A flicker of movement. Did you see that? Ray's heart raced with cautious hope. Yeah, I did, Tom replied, the spark of possibility igniting in his eyes. As they continued to breathe together, waiting for the next heartbeat, they both sensed that something was changing. But would it be the change they desperately hoped for? Ray clutched Mia's hand tighter, his heart racing with every flicker of hope. The hospital room felt charged, the deep silence punctuated only by the rhythmic beeping of the monitor. He leaned in closer, straining to hold on to that precious sense of connection, as if every subtle movement could bridge the chasm of fear that had formed. Come on, Mia, he whispered, his voice trembling just a little. Please, show us you're still in there. Tom kept his focus steady, eyes glued to Mia's face. The moment stretched long, each second feeling like an eternity. Then, as if in response to Ray's plea, Mia's eyelids fluttered for the first time. A delicate, almost imperceptible movement that sent a rush of adrenaline through both men. Ray, did you? I saw it. As if awakening from a deep slumber, Mia's eyes slowly cracked open, revealing a blurry world that surrounded her. Ray felt a full chamber of emotions swell within him, relief, joy, and a flicker of fear all wrapped up in one. Mia, he said, voice barely above a whisper, can you hear me? Her gaze wavered, trying to focus. For a fleeting moment, she looked confused, a tiny furrow forming on her brow. Then her lips curled into the faintest of smiles, and it felt like sunshine breaking through storm clouds. Daddy? She croaked, her voice fragile like a spider's web. Ray's heart swelled at the sound of her voice, familiar yet distant. Yes, baby, it's me. I'm right here. Tom, fighting back tears of his own, stepped back slightly, granting Ray the space to connect. Knowing this was a moment of pure magic, he didn't want to intrude despite his desire to share in the reunion. Where am I? Mia blinked, looking around the room with wide eyes. You're in the hospital, sweetheart. You had a little adventure, but you're safe now, Ray explained, his voice breaking slightly. Hope glimmered like stars in his chest. We were so worried about you. My flowers?" she asked, her brow knitting together as if trying to piece together a forgotten memory. "They're right here, just like I promised," Ray smiled, holding up the daisies with a sense of triumph that felt like a victory after a long battle. "Tom brought them for you." Tom stepped forward, flowers in hand, grinning broadly. "See? Bright and cheerful, just like you." Mia's small hand reached out, and as her fingers brushed against the flowers, the room seemed to pulse with life. Ray stood captivated as she let out a laugh, a sound that melted away the heaviness surrounding them. It was music he had feared he might never hear again, but even as the moment felt victorious, another weight descended within Ray. "Mia, honey, do you remember what happened?" Her eyes clouded for a moment. The confusion returned, and she began to frown. I think so. But it's blurry, that's okay. It doesn't matter right now. The important thing is that you're here, and we'll figure it all out together," he assured her, leaning down to kiss her forehead, feeling grateful for every second. The heart monitor beeped steadily now, a comforting metronome keeping time with their hopes. Ray glanced at Tom, who wore a smile, but there was a flicker of concern in his gaze. Ray could tell that the fight wasn't over yet. "Mia, we're going to keep talking, okay? You just focus on getting stronger," Tom encouraged, his voice steadied as they settled into a rhythm of playful questions and gentle laughter. Ray couldn't shake the feeling that this new chapter was only beginning. The memories of her illness loomed large, but with Mia awake, there was hope, a flickering flame to guide them through the uncertainty ahead. But as warmth enveloped the room, so did the specter of another reality. What if the battle hadn't been fully won? Ray's heart twisted at the thought. As they shared smiles and laughter, Ray caught a glimpse of the fierce determination etched in Tom's expression, the unspoken connection bond growing stronger between them. Could it be enough to face the challenges to come? And as Mia's eyes sparkled with the innocence of a child, the question lingered, what awaited them next as they embraced this fragile, new beginning? As the hours slipped by, Mia remained alert, her strength ebbing and flowing like the tide. Hot afternoon light filtered through the hospital window, casting stripes across the room. Ray kept a steady stream of conversation going, narrating the mundane details of daily life. Tom chimed in with fond stories, memories from simpler days that were now desperately wanted back. "Remember when we built that blanket fort last summer?" Tom ventured, his voice laced with nostalgia. "You made it the best fort ever, Mia." Mia's eyes sparkled as she recalled the moment, and a warm smile tugged at her lips. Yet, just as quickly as the smile appeared, a flicker of confusion washed over her face. "But it was scary, too, wasn't it?" she murmured. Ray's heart sank. When had a blanket fort become something fearful? The shadows of uncertainty whispered in his mind. "It was just our imaginations," he assured her, biting back the worry in his voice. "You were always so brave." For every gleam of progress, it seemed, shadows danced nearby. They could talk about the past, but it felt like Mia was wading through a fog, each step uncertain and heavy. Ray's mind raced. He wanted her to remember everything, but he knew pushing her would only lead to setbacks. "Mia," he said, his voice softening. "You're here now. You'll get stronger, I promise. It just takes time." Her gaze drifted past him, focusing on the window, where a small bird flitted between the branches of a nearby tree. Is it spring?" she asked slowly, her brow furrowed with uncertainty. "Yeah, it is, sweetheart. The world is waking up after winter, just like you are." The mention of spring seemed to ignite a flicker of joy in her eyes. "Flowers, right?" Her voice was tentative, yet there was a spark of recognition. "Yes. Just like your daisies. They're waiting for you to come home," Tom added, trying to uplift the mood. Mia nodded, but her smile faded as reality rushed back in. "But what if I don't remember everything?" Ray's heart clutched painfully. "We'll make new memories, Mia," he replied, though uncertainty gnawed at him. The thought of her forgetting was terrifying, but even more so, the thought of her slipping again into that cold, distant world of illness she had just escaped. They spent the day alternating between laughter and moments of reflective silence. Ray held Mia's hand while they shared stories of her favorite cartoons and her best friends. He didn't want her to feel lost or afraid. As night approached, Ray felt exhaustion settling into his bones. Tom had been an unwavering pillar beside him, but even he seemed on the verge of emotional collapse. Ray knew they needed more than just hope. They needed a plan, a way to recover not just Mia's health but her sense of security. "Mia, tomorrow we'll have the doctor come in and talk to us, all right?" Ray suggested gently. "We'll ask all the questions and we'll get everything sorted out together." Mia nodded, but a shadow of unease crossed her features. What if I have to stay here for a long time?" Ray's heart raced with the reality of her words. "No matter how long it takes, we'll be here for you," he vowed, squeezing her hand. "You're not alone." As he watched her eyes drift shut, he felt a pang of protectiveness swell within him. Outside the bustling hospital, life continued, unaware of their small battles. He never could shake the feeling that something lay just beneath the surface, waiting for the moment it could burst forth. Could their fight really be just beginning? And as silence wrapped around them, the uncomfortable truth echoed in Ray's mind. What deceptions might the path to recovery conceal? Ray woke to a soft beeping sound and the rustle of a nurse's footsteps. The sterile scent of antiseptic filled the air as he blinked away sleep. It was morning, another day, another chance. He looked over at Mia, who was still nestled in the hospital bed, her chest rising and falling softly, but today there was a slight change. The shadows around her eyes seemed less pronounced. Maybe the light of a new day brought hope. "Hey, sleepyhead," he whispered, leaning closer. Mia stirred, her eyelids fluttering open. "Ray?" she croaked, her voice still thick with sleep. "Yeah, it's me." He grinned. "How are you feeling? Ready to talk to the doctor?" She hesitated, biting her lip. What if there's bad news? Ray inhaled slowly, trying to keep his emotions steady. "We can handle bad news together. Remember? We've already fought through so much." Mia nodded but couldn't shake the worried look on her face. Tom walked in, his usual bright demeanor dimmed by the shadows of last night. "Hey, good morning." He plastered on a smile, trying to elevate the mood. "We've got our superhero ready for her day, right?" Mia's lips twitched up slightly, but Ray could see the uncertainty clinging to her. "Just after breakfast, the doctor will come in to give an update," Tom said, clapping his hands with a little enthusiasm. It was endearing, yet Ray could sense Tom's own vulnerabilities. The weight of the situation hung over them like a thick fog. After a quick breakfast of pineapple yogurt and toast, they waited for the doctor. Ray held Mia's hand tightly, trying to transmit strength through the simple touch. The clock ticked on the wall, each second stretching into a small eternity. Finally, the door swung open, and Dr. Harris entered with a stack of papers. The cheerful face of the doctor felt like a lifeline. "Good morning, Mia. How are you feeling today?" "Okay, I think," she replied, her voice a thin thread of hope. "That's great to hear. Now, let us talk about your progress." Dr. Harris glanced at Ray and Tom before diving into the paperwork. "We've seen some improvements in your test results. Your strength is coming back, but we need to stay cautious. There's still a long way to go." Mia swallowed hard, her eyes darting from the doctor to her family. Will I have to stay here for a long time?" Ray's chest constricted hearing her worry. Dr. Harris met her gaze attentively. "It's too soon to say for sure. Everyone's recovery is different, but we're all rooting for you. I believe we can come up with a plan that addresses your needs." Mia stared at him, as if searching for a thread of assurance. "What kind of plan?" Dr. Harris thumbed through the legal pad before speaking again. "We're looking to adjust your treatment. Therapy sessions may help your physical recovery, but mental health is just as important. You'll have a team focused on every aspect of your health." "Team," Mia whispered, the word floating in the air. Ray felt her hand ease under his grip, a little more relaxed. "Yeah. You'll get a whole squad." Doctors, nurses, specialists, even a therapist who'll help you with your fears and memories, Tom chimed in, showing a flash of optimism that seemed to ripple through the room. Mia brightened a touch. Like a superhero team? The doctor chuckled. That's exactly right. And we'll make sure you feel like a superhero again. As they discussed the particulars, Ray felt a glimmer of hope pull at his heart. A plan felt grounding. It was a step in the right direction. Yet, even as they talked, a nagging feeling piqued at Ray's mind again. What if this was just a start to a much tougher battle? As the conversation wrapped up, Mia looked at Ray, her eyes steady. Promise me we'll really fight, okay? Always, he said earnestly, squeezing her hand. But deep in his heart, doubts swirled. What about the fears they hadn't yet faced? With that question hanging between them, the door creaked open again, casting another shadow in the room. Was it more good news, or were they about to confront a deeper truth? What other battles lay ahead? The door opened slowly, revealing a tall figure draped in a white coat. It wasn't Dr. Harris this time, but someone Ray didn't recognize. He had thick glasses perched on his nose and a clipboard in hand. Hello, I'm Dr. Mendel, he said, offering a warm smile. I specialize in the rehabilitation side of things. I wanted to come in and discuss the next steps for you, Mia. Ray felt a pang of worry in his gut. New faces always brought uncertainty. Mia's grip on his hand tightened, as if she sensed the tension in the room. What do you want to tell me? She asked, her voice trembling slightly. First, I want to say, you're making strides. It's like climbing a mountain. You can see the peak ahead, but it'll take time and effort to get there. Mia nodded, absorbing his words, but Ray could see her worry linger in her gaze. Dr. Mendel continued, in the coming days, we'll start with some physical therapy sessions. Strengthening your legs and arms will be priority number one. But there's also a crucial mental component to your recovery. You've been through a lot. Ray's heart ached for Mia. He wished he could take away her pain, the sleepless nights, and the shadows that haunted her. You're going to help her, right? He asked, his voice firm yet laced with concern. Absolutely, that's my job, Dr. Mendel assured him. First, we have to instill confidence in her abilities. Once she knows she can rise again, physically and emotionally, the road ahead will seem less daunting. Confidence, Mia echoed, her voice soft. As if the very concept was foreign to her. Exactly. Think of riding a bike. At first, it's wobbly. But with practice, you find your balance. I'll be here every step of the way. Okay, Mia replied, though Ray could see the flicker of doubt in her eyes. The image of her struggling under the weight of her own expectations returned, heavy like a stone. Dr. Mendel smiled, sensing the need for reassurance. You're not alone in this. You've got your team, your family. Let us harness that support. It's important for improvement. Ray stepped closer, brushing his thumb against Mia's knuckles. We're in this together, remember? I'll be right here. Every session. Every moment. You won't have to face this alone. Mia's eyes shimmered with gratitude, though the uncertainty lingered. Dr. Mendel nodded, impressed by their bond. Exactly. With your family at your side, we'll create a support that feels unbreakable. Just then, the familiar sound of the beeping machines grew louder in the silence. Their presence around them felt suffocating yet oddly comforting. But then, Tom shifted uncomfortably in his chair, clearing his throat. Sorry to interrupt, but have you thought about her, emotional recovery? There's still a lot weighing on her from before. Dr. Mendel turned to Tom, his expression even. Good point. That's where therapy comes into play. However, it's essential for Mia to choose to open up when she's ready. We'll provide her with a therapist who understands her journey. It will be a safe space. Ray caught Mia's eyes searching his. Do you think I'll be able to talk about everything? Talk when you want. You set the pace, Dr. Mendel assured her, his voice soothing yet firm. As they discussed plans for her therapy and recovery, Mia's expression began to change, her eyes brightening ever so slightly with newfound determination. The thought of opening her heart felt daunting, but Ray sensed a small spark of hope igniting within her. But as Dr. Mendel left, Ray felt that nagging question swell again. Would Mia truly open up? Would she find the strength to face the memories that haunted her? Just then, the nurse entered with a clipboard, interrupting the thoughts swirling in Ray's mind. Hey, Mia. Time for a few tests. Are you ready? Mia stiffened at the mention of tests. The room, filled with anticipation and care, felt heavier. Do you want me to come? Ray asked, trying to reassure her, but Mia's eyes darted nervously. A sense of dread hovered. Can you stay? She replied softly, voice barely above a whisper. With a lump in his throat, he nodded. Knowing that the tests were just the beginning of what they'd both have to face. As the nurse prepared to take her away, Ray squeezed Mia's hand tightly, unwilling to let the uncertainty consume them. He could feel the collective breath of the room as they all shared in the fear and hope intertwined. What awaited Mia behind closed doors? Would they be the answers she yearned for, or would they plunge her deeper into the shadows? The nurse led Mia down the sterile hallway, her footsteps echoing against the sterile walls. Ray's heart raced as he watched them disappear behind the swinging door. He felt an overwhelming urge to follow, to keep that connection alive. But the nurse turned, giving him a gentle nod, signaling that he should wait. He paced the room, tension thrumming in his veins. The air felt thick, almost suffocating. Mia was in there, face to face with walls painted in shades of blue and white, symbols of hope colliding with the stark reality of her situation. Minutes felt like hours. He glanced at the clock. Each tick echoed in his mind, amplifying his anxiety. What were they doing? Were they poking and prodding, unveiling her fears right before her eyes? Would she let them in? His thoughts raced, but he forced himself to breathe. He remembered Dr. Mendel's words about support. You're not alone. It was true, but that didn't ease the worry gnawing at him. Finally, the door swung open, and out stepped Mia, pale and with a determined set to her jaw. But her eyes were bright, fight evident in her expression. Ray rushed to her side, searching for any hint of how it had gone. How did it go? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Fearing what she might say, she took a deep breath, her hands twisting the hem of her hospital gown as if it were an anchor. It was tough. But Dr. Mendel was right. I'm not alone. Relief washed over him. What did they say? As they walked slowly back to her room, Mia opened up just a bit, recounting the tests, the probing questions about her past, and the way the therapist had listened, really listened. Ray watched her, awed as she spoke. She was finding her voice, a tentative strength bubbling beneath the surface. I talked about the accident, Mia added, her voice shaking slightly. It felt strangely freeing, but I didn't say everything. Ray's heart swelled with pride. It was a step, albeit a small one, but a step nonetheless. You will. No one else rushing you. Mia nodded, her expression contemplative. I guess I didn't realize how much I had bottled up. It's hard to think back on it, especially those moments. I can't imagine. He paused, searching her face for more signs of vulnerability. But talking about it can help. Every time you share, it's like releasing a little more of that weight. It doesn't have to be all at once. She glanced up, her eyes meeting his, gratitude mingling with lingering uncertainty. Do you really think so? I know so. He stopped walking to face her directly. You're brave for facing it. You're already stronger than you think. Tears sparkled in Mia's eyes, yet she held them back with a determined smile. It's just hard to see the light when I'm surrounded by all this darkness. I'll be your light, every step of the way. We'll shine together. They shared a moment, standing there amid the bustling chaos of the hospital. It was their world now, a space filled with the potential for hope and healing. As they reached her room, Ray's phone buzzed in his pocket, snapping him from their shared bubble. He fished it out, glancing at the message. His heart dropped. It was his mom. Things have changed. We need to talk. Mia noticed the shift, her expression shifting from hope to concern. What's wrong? Conflicted emotions flooded Ray. He wanted to focus on Mia's journey, but the text tugged at his heart and mind. It's nothing, just family stuff, he said, but he knew the weight of that statement was anything but light. She frowned. You're not going to leave? No, of course not, he reassured, though the uncertainty flickered over him once again. But I think we might have to deal with a bit more than either of us realized. As Mia settled into her bed, Ray could see the spark within her dim slightly, the worries of the outside world creeping in again. Would they truly find strength together, or would the challenges of their lives keep pulling them apart? The silence that followed hung heavy between them. What awaited them both outside these hospital walls, the unknown waiting to be faced? Ray remained by Mia's side, the weight of his mother's message pressing against his chest. The modern hospital room, bright and sterile, had been a sanctuary for a short while, but now it felt confining. Mia's unease mixed with his own anxieties, creating a tension that buzzed in the air between them. Do you want to talk about it? Mia asked, her voice soft but steady. She was looking up at him, eyes clear and searching. He hesitated. It's complicated. Complicated is okay, she urged, as if willing him to open up. You know, it helps to share. Ray shifted his weight, glancing at the floor. The truth was he wanted to shield her from his problems. It's just family stuff, he repeated, but the conviction wasn't there. Mia's gaze didn't waver. Sometimes, talking about family stuff makes the burden lighter. He found her unwavering support heartening. It was a strange reversal of roles. Yet, here they were, both trying to navigate their own darkness. All right, he finally said, forcing a smile. My mom, she just said things have changed at home. It feels like a bombshell, you know? And I don't even know what to expect. Mia blinked, a flicker of concern darting across her face. What kind of changes? They both understood that change could be frightening, often wrapping itself in uncertainty. I'm not sure, he sighed, running a nervous hand through his hair. Maybe something serious. I just wish I could focus solely on you, on what you're going through. For a moment, they sat in the quiet, each balancing their own worries. Ray glanced at Mia, and he marveled at her strength. She was core-deep brave, while he wavered at the brink of his own fears. You're the one who faced your past. He gestured toward her bandaged arm, hardship lingering, but she looked radiant. Don't forget how strong you are. You inspire me. A smile broke on Mia's face, brightening the room. And you're here for me. That means a lot. Yet, the sincerity in her tone tugged at Ray. But what if I can't keep being here? He asked, the knot tightening in his stomach. What if my family needs me? Ray, you can't be two places at once. Just promise me you won't vanish if something happens. Panic flickered in her eyes. It felt like a plea, an anchor to hold on to. He reached out, squeezing her hand. I won't. I'm here. A flicker of doubt passed through her expression. You have to take care of yourself too. He took a breath. It was hard not to feel the weight of her worries. I will. I promise. We can figure things out together. Mia smiled softly, but underneath it, he sensed the struggle. They both needed each other, yet the world felt determined to pull them apart. It wouldn't be easy, navigating their separate battles while trying to stay connected. Suddenly, the monitor by her bed beeped, the sound sharp and jarring, slicing through the heavy silence they shared. Ray leaned forward, watching over her more closely, a protective instinct flaring up. Mia, he said, his voice soft but urgent. I know we both have our own struggles, but let us not forget to lean on each other. We need that, especially now. She nodded, and in that moment, they both felt the gravity of their journey together. It was fragile but crucial, their tenuous connection against the chaos outside their shared moment. As if sensing a shift, the nurse peeked into the room, checking on them. Ray's heart raced. There was a sudden thought nagging at him, a question that twisted his insides. What if Mia and he had to face more than their individual pain? What if life threw unexpected obstacles their way? The nurse smiled gently, but the unease lingered in the air like a storm cloud. Ray couldn't shake the feeling that something was on the horizon, something that would redefine everything they knew about their journey forward. And when the nurse quietly left, Mia sighed, looking around her hospital room. I guess it's just the beginning, she murmured, more to herself than to him. Yeah. The beginning of more challenges, Ray replied. But deep down, he hoped it would lead to something more, something that could transform their lives forever. Would they be able to face whatever came next, or was it all too much to bear together? Ray sat in the dim light of Mia's hospital room, enveloped by a mix of hope and anxiety. The rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor provided a backdrop of reassurance, while the smell of antiseptic reminded him of the fragility of life. Today, however, felt different. Sunlight streamed through the window, bathing the room in warmth, igniting a sense of possibility. Today, it seemed, would hold something profoundly transformative. Mia had made remarkable strides in her recovery. With each visit from Dr. Mendel, she showed a determination that melted Ray's worries. He watched her engage more, her laughter rising above the somberness of hospital life. Every conversation rippling with shared moments fostered a connection that felt like family. Ray. Mia's voice broke through his thoughts, full of mischief and life. Are you ready for our superhero training today? Ray chuckled, his heart lifting. Oh, absolutely. What's the mission? Mia leaned in conspiratorially, her eyes sparkling. To make sure I eat my vegetables and get stronger. Then we better get started. Those peas won't eat themselves. Ray quipped, laughter filling the room as he pulled back the curtain to reveal the city bustling below. For the first time in weeks, he felt the heaviness in his chest lifting, like a weight being balanced on both their shoulders. Throughout lunch, they continued to joke and share silly stories. Each bite Mia took felt like a small victory. There was a sense of urgency in their interactions and understanding that they were redefining each other's lives. Tom, who had become a regular visitor, joined them, bringing energy and warmth into their careful lives. Hey, I have a surprise for both of you. Tom exclaimed, eyes dancing with enthusiasm as he entered the room, clutching a stack of colorful construction paper, markers, and stickers. What's this? Mia asked, her curiosity piqued. We're making a vision board. Tom declared, beaming as he spread the supplies across the hospital bed. We'll dream big together. It's time to think about the future, not just surviving. Ray exchanged a glance with Mia, who looked enthralled. Slowly, her smile bloomed, and they began to discuss their dreams, Mia's aspiration to travel the world, Ray's vision of opening a community center for underprivileged children, and Tom's yearning to start a philanthropic venture that focused on connections, kindness, and rebuilding lives. With each marker stroke, a sense of empowerment began to fill the space. Their creativity brought forth light even in those sterile walls. Each colored heart or fantastical image on the board became a promise, a reminder of what lay ahead. Mia, you need to add your favorite place to travel. Ray encouraged. Definitely. And what about your center? We'll make it the best. She replied with childlike exuberance. Time slipped away as laughter and creative energy enveloped them. When they finally looked at their vision board, it stood as a testament to their journeys, a tapestry of hope stitched together through vulnerability and friendship. But beneath the surface, Ray felt an undercurrent of uncertainty creeping back in. The specter of his family's changes loomed, and the weight of unspoken fears emerged. Mia, he began tentatively, trying to choose his words carefully. Is everything okay? She leaned closer, her brow furrowed as concern fluttered into her voice. Yes. I mean, I'm just worried about. He hesitated, heart aching at the thought of burdening her again. Tell me, she urged, her sincerity slicing through his reluctance. Things at home have shifted. I'm not sure how much longer I can be here without it impacting Ray. Stop, she interjected, her tone steady and grounded. You have to take care of your family too. But that doesn't mean you leave me in the dust, okay? You don't have to carry everything alone. Tears prickled at the corners of his eyes as he marveled at her insight. You're right. I'm trying to handle everything, but I don't want to leave you like this. I want to be here for you. She reached out, cupping his hands in hers. Just promise me that when you have to go, you won't forget why we're fighting. You keep me in your heart, and I'll do the same. Caught in the moment, Ray felt warmth spreading through his chest, the shadows momentarily fading. I promise. And I won't give up on us. They shared a quiet understanding as the world around them faded. This was their fight together. The following weeks unfolded with a rhythm of progress. Mia started physical therapy, navigating her rehabilitation with fierce grit. Although it was challenging, she faced each hurdle with bravery. Ray held her hand through the sessions, drawing strength from their shared vow to build a future. Amid the laughter and tears, something deeper began to bloom, forming a triad of unwavering support between Ray, Mia, and Tom. Together, they celebrated each milestone while finding ways to support each other beyond the hospital walls. One day, during a visit from Dr. Harris, Mia's medical update brought unexpected news. You're showing incredible improvement, Mia. If you continue this way, we can look at transitioning you home in a few weeks, Dr. Harris proclaimed with an encouraging smile. Ray's breath hitched. The thought of bringing Mia back into the world felt exhilarating but daunting. Home? Mia echoed, excitement dancing in her eyes, but a flicker of worry crept in. What about my therapy? Dr. Harris reassured her, we'll set up an outpatient program. This is a new chapter, and we'll make sure it's filled with support. The reality of returning home set in. Ray couldn't shake the bittersweetness of it. Yes, it symbolized growth, but also change. He felt the weight of his own family issues mix in with the rush of joy for Mia. As they spoke about logistics, Ray caught a glimpse of Mia's vision board. The dreams they held together now felt like a beacon guiding them into the unknown. In the bustling days leading up to her transition home, each moment became a testament to transformation and resilience. Overwhelmed with emotion during the final hours in the hospital, Ray turned to Tom. I don't know how I'd have done this without you. Same here, buddy, Tom replied, clapping Ray on the shoulder. You both are my family now, and family sticks together. We're building something special. And as they prepared for her release, the trio stood side by side, united in their journey toward healing. Together, they would navigate the future with the memories of their struggles woven into the very fabric of their friendship. When the day finally arrived, Mia stepped outside the hospital doors, sunlight flooding over her like a warm blanket. It was a moment of triumph. There were still challenges ahead, but standing in that golden light, she knew they would face each of them with unwavering bond. Ray clenched her hand tightly, taking a moment to breathe in the fresh air. Ready? He asked softly. Mia nodded, a fierce determination gleaming in her eyes. Let us go change the world. And as they walked forward, a sense of belonging filled the air. They would transform not just their lives but also the lives of everyone they touched. Their story was just beginning, a powerful testament to the way love and friendship could rewrite destinies. Together, they faced every uncertainty, and nothing felt impossible anymore, and so, the journey continued. Don't wait another second. You need to subscribe now to this channel so you won't miss the next exclusive stories that inspire and uplift you. Leave a like now. Your support feeds the algorithm and helps us grow together. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about Mia's incredible journey and how she overcame such darkness. And don't forget to share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. We're building a community, and only true fans like you understand the importance of supporting this channel. Let's spread the love.